Oh, hello everyone. Here we are on this somewhat chilly day, and I have a new arrival. And I'm glad that I opened it out here because why do people use this stuff? I don't understand. This is the awful stuff too, like, man. And I hope that there's better packaging in there than just that, because what's in here used to be billed as durable, made of basically Rubbermaid, but time makes things brittle. Especially when you see this on the box. It didn't come from Amazon. But let me get this garbage cleaned up, and we'll see what we've got. Now that all that is cleared up, here's what we've got. Little mouse. The rubber of which is a little on the sticky side. But obviously we've got more than that. I wouldn't just get a mouse on eBay. No, this is what we've got. I have been after one of these for a long time. Let me see if I can get this placed somewhere. The problem with these is that every time I find one, I'm gonna have to set this down. Like I was saying, every time I find one, it's either way overpriced because people think they're rare and worth a fortune, when in reality they're not, or the screen has vinegar syndrome, which is starting to become a problem for these. It's particularly bad for the ones out of Japan. No, I don't know, I don't think I've got the leverage on this to be able to open it. There we go. This one does not have such. Or the other option is that I get outbid by a massive amount on a bid item, or sniped at the last possible second. This was also a bid item. That looks like that's a little loose. The keyboard might be out a little bit. I'll have to deal with that. But, yeah, that's poking out, and it shouldn't be. But, this was a bid item, and I was the only bidder. That almost never happens. So hopefully that wasn't a mistake, and I didn't end up with a lemon, but, I remember the listing right, it works. The only real blemish is the fact that it's missing the little Apple logo in the middle, but I can probably get that. The other thing that it has with it is the power supply. Now, I don't know if this is special or not. To the naked eye, it's not. It looks like you could use a regular, later PowerBook adapter with this, but it is built a little bit differently. This is kind of sticky, I don't mind telling you. It's the rubber degrading. This is kind of an interesting design. It's like a Mickey Mouse design, but they forgot to poke in the grounding pin. It doesn't have it. So, like I said, kind of a weird design, but I'm glad I have it. This is an iBook G3, the original iBook G3, blueberry model. It's in very good condition. A lot of these that you find are yellowed, extremely yellowed. The rubber on the machine itself is not sticky, which is good. You can see on the side there with the modem. The carrying handle at the back. This is always cracked. And it looks like on this one, it's actually in very good condition. It's not cracked or anything like that. On the other side, have the optical drive. The fit and finish here is a little bit off, but that's fine. There is the connector there. I don't believe that the battery works. Apparently that's where it came from. Let's see, copyright 1999 Apple. Does it have the specification sticker on it? Or is that underneath this? Usually there's a sticker on it somewhere that details what the specifications are. Look at this. completely and utterly toolless. Now, almost. Might not be able to get that one. There we go. Here's the battery. Yeah, nope, there is no sticker. Interesting. Looks like it's an original battery. Probably completely toasted, if I had to guess. Let me see if I can get it back in. I took it out and... yeah, here we go. It tucks in underneath this corner. There should be a thing on it somewhere, I thought. But, oh well. Now that I've done my basic inspection and there's no gross defects or anything like that, there's no stowaways or anything else on any of this stuff, I will go ahead and I will take it inside. Actually, before I do that, it would be kind of interesting. I'm very curious if the battery is any good. It's holding a charge. Nope. It is not. There's a little bit of a blemish right there. This is starting to come off, but again, that's normal for these. It's normal wear. Now that we're inside where it's warmer but not brighter, let's have a little bit of a history lesson. I know everybody loves it when I do that in my videos. Shortly before Steve Jobs took over Apple for the second time, they had a number of different product lines. The Performas, the Quadras, the LCs, the Power Macintosh, the Power Book. They even had the Centris there for a little while, although that was gone by the time Steve Jobs came back. And not only did they have all these different product lines, they all applied to basically the same subset of machines. Now, the PowerBook was a league of its own, because obviously they were the only laptops, but the Performa was the consumer-grade version of the Power Macintosh. The Quadra was the business-grade version of the Power Macintosh. The Power Macintosh was sold to education, and you could buy any number of these things interchangeably, but they were all at the heart of the same basic machine. And Apple said, well, this is dumb. We're cannibalizing our own sales here. Why don't we just simplify it? And so, simplify it they did. They kept the Power Macintosh, they kept the Power Book, and they introduced the iMac after Steve Jobs came back. What they had then was the 4-quadrant product strategy. That left one quadrant, if I could say the word, empty. Cue the iBook G3. The iBook G3 was introduced in 1999 as the iMac to go. And that's what it's styled after. It's basically an iMac in a laptop form factor. It's got the same basic design aesthetic. Colorful and all that. And the same design philosophy. It uses all the New World I/O. You'll notice that there's no ADB ports, there's no Apple Display Connector ports, there's none of that kind of stuff. In fact, there's no external display port at all. But there was more to that than met the eye. These things were introduced to consumers, but the education customers also wanted these because they were buying the iMacs. So they were designed to be extremely portable and extremely durable. They had a handle on the back that was part of the hinge. Very nice. They were built out of the same kind of material that they make bulletproof vests out of. Basically glorified Rubbermaid. It's the same kind of material. If you have ever picked one of these up and felt it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's got this nice rubberized coating, so the laptop didn't slip out of your hands. But it's got sort of like crumple zones on your car. It's got crumple zones alongside the LCD panel, so if you dropped it, it wouldn't damage your LCD panel. It's got the same thing going on down here, and that gives it its clamshell appearance, or as some people called it, made it look like Barbie's toilet seat. You'll often hear these called toilet seat iBooks. You could probably run this thing over with a car. In fact, I've heard stories of people doing just that, and them surviving. because they are built with durability in mind. Now, obviously, I wouldn't run this over with a car in the year 2025 because it's plastic. It gets brittle with age no matter what it is made out of. And this one's actually not too bad. But a lot of them have yellowed beyond all extents of being yellowed, and when plastic yellows, what generally causes that also causes it to become extremely brittle. You know, the rubber starts to degrade and become very sticky. That hasn't happened with this one. It's in very good shape. And it's in amazingly good shape for what I paid for it. Again, like I said, this is a bid item. I was the only bidder. I don't know how that manages to happen in this day and age, but it did, and I'm happy about it. Here's the model number, M22453, copyright 1999. I don't know if that was the original model or if that was a later re-release. I was assembled in Taiwan. That's funny. And you can see, of course, school district, because schools bought a lot of these. From what I remember, there were PowerPoints on the bottom of these. And I don't know where they would be, but you could charge these on a specially constructed rack. Or with the power supply, of course. And that's enough history lesson. I don't know what exact model this is, or if it works. I don't remember what was in the listing. But again, a lot of these come from Japan in this day and age. You can find a lot of them coming from Japan. And they all have vinegar syndrome on the screen, some worse than others. If you want to see an example of vinegar syndrome, it looks like this. Look at how bad that is. I don't remember exactly what it is that leaches out of the screen. It actually leaches out of the polarizer film on the front and on the back. But it creates, basically, vinegar. It's very acidic. It smells horrible. Although that, ironically, doesn't smell at all. And it wrecks the polarizing film. But the screen still works. The underlying screen still functions. So you can replace the polarizing film. It's just a massive pain to do it. Before I do, let's take a quick look further at this power supply. Apple really did have a design motif of its own back in that time period. And it even extended to their power supplies. I mean, this has got the same sort of translucent rubber on it that the iMac power cord had. It's really quite amazing. Okay, I haven't plugged it in yet because I don't know if it will power on immediately as soon as I try this. I think I've got to extend the power out a little bit more. There is a little bit of that stickiness going on with this, particularly at the end of the power cord, but let's see what happens when I plug it in. Hopefully no explosion, because that would be unfortunate. Yeah, this rubber is a little on the sticky side. Well, it did not power on. Wait, sorry, it didn't power on immediately. It did power on after I hit the button. I believe this is a fully functional machine. Running Mac OS 9. Is there a CD in the optical drive? There is. Math CD-ROM. The DLM, Early Childhood Express from McGraw-Hill. Free edutainment game. It's pink. Closing that's a little difficult. Yeah, someone definitely set this up in their own special way. Now we got a flower. That's pretty. Battery is dead, obviously. It is trying to charge the internal battery, you can see there. Well, yeah, there's definitely a bunch of stuff on here. Easy Grade Pro. Does this have the airport card? I don't know. Might be kind of interesting to find out. That is a very nice click button for the mouse there. It does have the airport card. $192 MB of RAM. Running OS 9. Let's open up the software profiler. System profiler, sorry, that's what it's called. Here you can see 4 megabytes of video memory, 64 megs built in. I believe that's soldered to the logic board, and then 128 megabyte DIMM. 300 megahertz processor. iBook keyboard with inverted T. No idea what that means. Looks just like a standard keyboard to me. Interestingly, there's a single speaker. I would have expected dual speakers. Toshiba hard drive, 6 gigs in size. How much space is used? Not very much. CD-ROM, I believe that is actually a CD-ROM. That is not a burner of any kind. For video, ATI Rage mobility. So, pretty standard stuff. Oh my word, look at all this stuff on here. Looks like it had the print shop on it at one point. But of course it was used in an educational setting, so all of that makes sense. I think this is for the airport. It does actually see my network. I wonder if I can connect to it. Nope, is the answer. Even though that was the correct password, it didn't let me connect to it. So, I guess it's because it's too old. Or really, it doesn't have the correct WPA level on it. And I think that's a card level problem. That's not a driver or a software level issue. I think that's a card problem. So this won't connect to that network. Which is too bad. And kind of makes me wish that I had something like that set up, but I just don't have the time for that. So, do I dare look at documents? No, there's nothing really in there. So, I don't think there's really much else to share with this. I'm not going to do too much. I'm certainly not going to look at all the files on this video, so at some point, this will be a candidate for a reload of the operating system. What it gets, I don't know. Probably OS 9. I don't think I'm going to put OS 10 on this, but I might put like 10.1 or something. Haven't decided yet, but it will probably be OS 9. As far as this video is concerned, that's basically it. So thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. I heard the hard drive shut down.